All right, guys, welcome back to the shack. And today we're going to be doing a review slash test slash what do I think about xTool's new Safety Pro equipment that they have. Now, xTool reached out to me and wanted to send me these products. Many of you may know that where I'm at, I actually vent most of my exhaust just out through the wall outside. I'm in a real rural area. My shop is away from the house. There's not a whole lot of risk to anybody because I'm basically the only person out here, and so I just vent out the walls. But with my xTool S1, I do kind of keep it over here on a cart in the middle of the shop, and it's really inconvenient to try to run a hose over here to vent it. I do have that capability, but it is a bit inconvenient. So I have outfitted my S1 this week, as you can see down here, with the new filter that they have and they've sent out. And I've played around with the fan as well, and I have plans to use the fan. But we're going to go over those two pieces of equipment, and I'm going to give you the most scientific and honest review that you'll probably see on these machines. Now, in an attempt to try to provide you with the best information that I can, I've also bought this little monitor slash tester, which is supposed to look for those things that we can't smell that may be dangerous to you. And so hopefully that'll give us a little bit better look into what exactly is going on with this piece of equipment and how much we can trust it. So let's get started. But we're outside, and one of the things with this little gauge, the little meter that I have, is the first thing you have to do is you have to take it outside into a clean, gas-free environment. And luckily, we're not in the season in which pollen is overly predominant here in the South. But you'll notice this is the readings that I'm getting outside. I've got the little smiley face. Everything is green. So what's that, 140 or 041 is our PM 2.5 reading. It's saying that is good. And I've got zeros on these with the PM 2.5 setting at 0.10. In the most scientific manner that I can come up with, guys, I'm going to take a picture of our results outside, and we'll compare that to the inside. All right, so now we've brought the device inside the shop, guys. It is the first thing here in the morning. I haven't done anything in the shop but sit down, check my email, and kind of sit over there at the computer. So I have not stirred up any dust. I haven't moved anything. Nothing has happened here in the shop. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to sit this little guy down, and it says it takes it about 2 or 3 minutes to get an adequate sample. So we're going to set this thing down for about 5 minutes, take a little quick break. You'll never see the break, but I'm going to take a few minutes break. I'm just going to set this over here on top of the box, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes to see what the readings are before we fire up the laser. Because in the filter's defense, this is a working shop. This is not a studio. This is not a xTool factory. This is a working shop. So there's going to be some particulate matter just drifting around from the CNC, the other lasers, all that. So I'm trying to be as scientific as I can and give you a good understanding of how this thing works. So let's stick around and see what the results look like. All right, guys, so a few minutes later, and so far our results aren't bad, even though this is a very dusty shop, and I can attest to the fact that it is dusty. According to the book that comes with the little gauge, because this is not something that I usually do. According to the book here, we're still in the range that we would like to be. The number of the PM 2.5 here is up to a 010, and apparently up to 12 is where we want to be, according to the little paperwork that comes with this little gauge. Like I said, probably not the best gauge, guys. I bought it on Amazon, okay? It's not an expensive gauge, but it's better than just my nose because I can't smell stuff that this thing can. So let's get this little fan in there. You can probably hear it. Yeah, and it pulls air through and does all the testing. So it's pretty cool. So that's going to be our baseline. This is kind of our baseline of what the inside of the shop is under normal conditions without any equipment running whatsoever. First thing in the morning, it's had all night for the dust to settle. So that should be a good baseline for us to go with, because I'm not going to fire up any other machines for this little experiment except for the S1 and the air purifier. I've got some donor equipment, some donor material here, and I'm going to set up basically just a massive group of cuts to try to generate as much smoke as I can to pump through this machine and see what it does to the air quality inside the shack here. Now, I can tell you, I have put about 3 hours runtime, and that's going by the software in xTool, about 3 hours worth of runtime, continual burning through this thing. And so far, I'm impressed. I've used several other little smoke filters that'll work okay for the first hour or two, and then it's just downhill from there. So far, this one has held up pretty well. And looking at some of the information that you can look at through XCS, if it's accurate, the filters are holding up pretty well. But we're going to take them out today. We're going to look at the filters. We're going to look at the software. We're going to dive into it, because a lot of you guys ask me about these things, and this is the first one that I've seen so far that could be effective. Long term, still yet, kind of still out on it, but I want to give you guys a preliminary of what I know so far. So there's our numbers. That's our baseline. Let's go get a cut set up in XCS and fire up this machine and see what it does. So I've got the S1 cutting these stars out of this 1/4-inch plywood. This is generating a good bit of smoke. I don't know how well you can see it, but for you guys that run machines and cut 1/4-inch material, you know how it is. I'm running this at about 8 millimeters a second, so it is flowing it pretty good. The one thing that I want to add with this machine and with this filter that I haven't seen with a lot of the other ones that I've seen is they do offer an optional output from the machine so that you can expel what comes out of the machine outside if you choose to do so. And so what I've done is I've connected a hose to the outlet from the filter, and I've got my little meter sitting right here. This is as best of a demonstration of what this thing is capable of that I could come up with. Keep in mind, this is not I just took it out of the box, I've connected it, brand new filters, brand new setup. That's not what we got going on here. And I'm gonna pull the top filter out here in just a minute to show you. This machine, I have been running it for several days using this filter system because I wanted to see how it would hold up in 3 or 4 days. I will tell you that with most of the other machines that I've tested as far as the filtration systems, usually within a day or two of running them pretty heavy, they basically become ineffective, which is going to lead to more expense buying filters. And while from a company perspective, the fact that you have something that you have to sell to people to keep that machine running is good from us, the creator, maker perspective, that's bad. The longer that those filters can last, the better. So the two things that I will tell you about this machine, and the jury's still out on how I feel about it. I will say so far it performs better than any of the others that I've tested. But the two things that I have noticed about this one that I think make it kind of heads above the rest is the fact that it's Bluetooth activated, so it cuts on and off. The size of it, the size of the filter medium, because it is much larger, therefore you got a lot bigger filter. The fact that the filters can be purchased individually, so those first 2 or 3 filters are going to be the ones that get stopped up the most. So as you go down, those filters should last longer because a lot of the stuff's going to catch in those first few. So the fact that you don't have to buy this huge cartridge, you can just buy the one filter, I think that's an advantage, assuming the price comparison to the filters is comparable to what you're used to with the others. I think this does give you a little more versatility as far as the use case for the machine, and it's performing really well. If you're somebody that's working in a garage or a shop and maybe you're not in a completely sealed environment, it is definitely going to help a lot with the smoke, and maybe you don't have to vent outside. I am an advocate, guys, of vent it outdoors when you can, because any kind of residue or dust or anything like that in your work environment for prolonged periods of time, no matter how small, no matter how much you clean it, it's still not as good as if it wasn't there at all. So me personally, I'm going to vent when I can. Now with this machine, doing tumblers and stuff like that, low impact stuff. I think this thing is going to do a phenomenal job. It's really doing well. You can look right here, even as it's still running. The levels are showing pretty well. From some of the research I've done, this is not what you would want necessarily all day, every day. But considering what we've pumping out of the machine into here, I think we're doing a pretty good job. But yeah, it's definitely keeping the smoke down, as you can see. So let's get around to seeing exactly what the machine is made of. Well, legs got me a little limited, but this is the way I've got mine set up with the cart. I've got the filter here in the bottom, and then the xTool S1 Setup on the top. And the cool thing about this is this is kind of magnetically attached. It's just a sheet of shaded acrylic. You pull that off and it exposes the filters. This top filter is going to be the most used, the most dirtiest filter in the machine, and this is the little cyclone type filter that they've put in there. And as you can see, guys, mine has been ran. Okay, like I said, this is not a clean machine that never gets run running this stuff. This is a nasty machine that gets used a lot, and it's doing some filtering. So let's look at this thing and see how bad we've messed it up for the past few days of running it. But as we go down, going to the second filter, you'll see the second filter, it's a little brown. It's starting to show some wear, and I've got probably 3 hours of runtime on this machine. So down to the second filter, obviously signs of use. Third filter, starting to get a lot wider. So as we move down through the stack here, the use is less and less. You can see there's a little discoloration around the edges of this one. This is the activated carbon filter here. And then we go down to the next level. And these look basically new, which is good. This is a carbon HEPA filter here. And the very last one, which is the ultra HEPA filter, it actually looks brand new in the stack. So just like I said, the dirt is basically going to be hopefully caught in the top, and as the air progresses towards the exhaust, it should be cleaner and cleaner, resulting in less wear on your filters. All right, guys, so here we are. This is the first layer of this filtration system. This is a little cyclone. This is the part that xTool says is user serviceable, and that you can clean this out to eliminate a lot of the dirt being trapped into the filters. So it's 6 screws holds this thing together. Right here on the top, you have an arrow pointing towards the end over here to where the air comes out to kind of let you know where you need to start at. So let's take this thing apart and see what the inside looks like with the say probably about 3.5 hours of runtime that has been pushed through this machine. So let's check it out. All right, so you're going to need a 3mm Allen wrench or Allen screwdriver to get into this guy. Once you take those screws out, this is what you're going to find. And like I said, guys, this is not a snatch it out of the box, run it for 10 minutes video. I have ran this thing for several hours, cutting out stars and stuff. And this little setup here, these fingers, it's like those little fingers are basically just set up there as the dirt and debris is flying through there, they're just going to grab some of that stuff and it's going to stick to them as it's going through here. There's not really an element or anything in this. Not sure exactly. Oh, there's some discs in there that will fall out if you lean it over. So let me set this down. So when you lift the top part off, this is the inside of the top. So you can see it's got some debris in there. I'm not sure if this, exactly the cleaning process for this, but I'm guessing maybe just a rag and some Windex or something like that. Not going to recommend you put it in a dishwasher because I don't know if this dishwasher is safe, but that might actually be an option. We'll have to check with xTool. But there's a lot of dust and debris. A good compressed air would probably be a good first pass on this thing, but you can see I have ran this a substantial amount for the past few well, for the past week or so, on and off, I've been running it. Here are the little finger things inside the Cyclone, and mine have gotten kind of dirty. So in xTool's defense, guys, if you compare my video to somebody else's video, just remember, mine was dirty. So the readings that I'm getting is after I've been running it for about 4 hours of cut time. So that is why my numbers may actually be a little higher, because my filters aren't brand new. But yeah, so we're going to clean these up with the air hose, maybe some Windex and everything, put it back together, because I think keeping these clean is going to prolong the life of the filters below there, because if these guys, these little fingers aren't catching the debris, the next set of filters is going to, and therefore. So I think the big secret to this thing, longevity-wise for your filters, is going to be to keep these clean. So before I put that back together, we're going to give it a good cleaning. All right, guys, using the air hose and a dry rag, I've managed to get this first Cyclone filter cleaned back up. Now, I didn't use any kind of solvent or anything on it to try to make sure there weren't any glues or whatever stuck on the inside of it. I mostly blew it out with the air hose. So I've got it cleaned back up pretty well, and I'm gonna put it back in service and continue to use it and see how it works. So the cool part is now all I do is slide this in and put the cover back on. So all right, guys, that is basically the rundown of the filter as I see it currently. Now, this is a new product. I haven't had it but a week or two. I have ran it a lot. It's so far, for someone who's used to being in a shop with, you know, machines running and stuff like that, and in the early days, you know, I had myself a wood burning fireplace and stuff like that. 100% clean air is not necessarily that big of a concern to me, but as always, guys, you know, use your own judgment when it comes to your health and safety and what you feel that you should expose yourself to. With these filters, I think they're a good addition to machines, but I preferably still like to vent. I do like the fact, like I said, with the xTool product, you do have that option to go ahead and vent the outputted air outside. So I do think this is going to be exceptionally well for those people who live in, whether you live in like a apartment where you share walls with people, or just a really close subdivision where, you know, maybe the wind blows straight across your neighbor's porch. I think this would be a great option for that. That way you can filter it, clean it up best you can, and then get rid of it. I do like the fact that xTool has made it somewhat user serviceable when it comes to the filters. And I think if you stay on top of that first chamber, that first filter, I think that'll go a long ways towards keeping the rest of them clean. Now we're going to jump over to the computer and look at some of the prices of the filters and see how they've got those advertised. But for those of you who must have some way of filtration, so far this is the best one I've seen yet. I'm not saying it's perfect, not saying it's 100%, but it is the best filter that I've seen for hobby laser engravers so far as of today. And on a side note, guys, and I'm going to probably do a separate video of this later. This is xTool's new fan that they've came out with, and guys, this thing it could double as a leaf blower. It will move lots of air. I had recently decided to change out one of my enclosures, add a fan to it. I've been using a shop vac setup on it since I began doing laser stuff, but I'm wanting to swap it over to something a little quieter and use a fan. I do like this. The conveniences of this with the xTool products, of course, you're going to get through XCS, you're going to get that ability for it to be Bluetooth and cut on and off automatically with the machine, and I think that's really cool. But this will also work with other machines, as will the filter. The only thing that you're going to lose with any non-xTool product is the automatic, on and off capability. So that was the thing that xTool emphasized to me, was that this is not just a product for xTool machines. This product, the fan as well as the air filtration system, can be used with other machines. Like I said, you're going to lose that functionality, which is cool, of the Bluetooth automatic on and off. But if you're needing filtration that actually works so far, then you might want to look at it. But I'm going to keep running it on the S1. I'm going to keep using it here in the shop. That way I don't have to drag a hose. And I'll let you know later how it holds up. All right, guys. One of the biggest things about the fan as well as the filter that xTool has came out with is both are activated by the machine in the software. I've tested it with XCS, and what happens is when the machine begins cutting, the fan cuts on, and there's also a way you can set a timer for a delay for it to cut off. So I'm going to drop down here in XCS and just show you the basic setup. Well, if you need it, we'll go over more in depth, but I just want to show you the basic setup for now. So in XCS, when you go to your machine, the way you're going to connect it, once you update your firmware and everything, there will be required firmware updates. You're going to have down here at the bottom accessory information, and this is where you add the machines. You'll add the Safety Pro. This is the fan. I've got it powered on, and therefore you can see it. You can, even though like if you say if you have this connected to a different machine, you can click the button to ignore it, and what that'll do is that will basically deactivate it from automatically coming on with this machine. So that's a pretty cool feature too, because like I plan to use the fan with another machine and not necessarily my S1. But over here on the Safety Pro, the filter, it connects to the machine. I've got mine set to auto, and you can adjust the airflow level here. And also I've got it set to a 10-second basically pause to where it continues to run even after the cut is finished to vacate all that smoke that sometimes gets left inside the machine. But as you roll down here, you will also see that it has the filter lifetimes. This does not include the one that we cleaned, the Cyclone filter. This is the other ones. But even after the hours of use that I've got on it, you can see I'm still showing 92, 96, 99, and 98% use on those. I'm not sure, and I'm still waiting to determine if when you change out the filters, do these automatically detect that and change, or if there's a process. But we'll figure that out when we get ready to change the filters. All right, guys, so over here on xTool's website, and I'll go ahead and tell you this, $9.99 that's a big pill to swallow for a system like this, but when it comes to health and safety, that's something you got to consider. Luckily, right now they've got it going here with this thing for $4.99. Hopefully that will at least stay the high end of the price, if not get a little bit of a sale later on. But you can see this is kind of the layout of how things work, and those little fingers actually remove a lot of the material, and they are saying that it's washable and reusable, but make sure you dry it out thoroughly before you put it back together, though. You don't want bacteria to start growing in this thing. I didn't have a lot of little particulates, like large particles, in mine. Mine was dust, just kind of stuck to the fingers around through there. So, I guess that, depends on what your material is and how it's coming out of the machine. But, so far mine hasn't spewed a bunch of particulate matter. Now, let's see if we can't find how much those little filters are going to be as we go. Yeah, see, that one's kind of excessively dirty. They might should have cleaned that one a little more often. Than that's insane. I don't know what they're cutting with that, but anyway. But yes, it did do a good job on getting the smoke out. These are some videos where they did a similar machine, possibly even a better meter than what I had to do my scientific experiment with this thing. But I can tell you from both smell and the sensor, it is definitely filtering a lot of the material. So here are the filters. So we'll go here and click on the filters. So it looks like if you buy the filters, you're looking at, it says $19.90 for the pre-filter, $20. That's not terrible. Now, once you get down, as you go down, like $19.90, that's for the number one. Number two, $29.90. So as you go down in the layers, they get a little more expensive. $49.90, $39.90. That one's probably going to be expensive. $39.90. So it looks like the carbon filter is going to be the most expensive. So yeah, these first two are the ones that I think are going to be replaced the most. And any of these down below, I think those will last a lot longer. But it's not ridiculous, the fact that you can actually split them up and buy just the ones that you need. I think that's a lot better than having to buy the whole stack already put together, because realistically the bottom of any filter is not going to stop up as fast as the top. So hats off to xTool for actually subbing this thing up into layers. I think that will in the long term save money for people. So there's your prices, guys, and there will be links down below. If you use those, give me a little bit of a attaboy for helping you make your decision. So let's get back to it. All right, guys, so like I said, I'm going to be doing a separate video on the fan to highlight it. I think I spent enough time on this particular video for this filter. But the fan is also highly serviceable. It's unique, comes with a little hanger clip that you can mount it. I think this is going to be a good addition for one of my enclosures. And for those of you that were wondering if this thing will actually pull any smoke, guys, on high, I think it's excessive. It's like literally almost a leaf blower or a hair dryer. If you turn it all the way up. So, and that's why I'm playing with it. So my hair's messed up. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in this, be sure to check out the links down below. Click those links and let them know that the Shack helped you make your decision. And those will be affiliate links in case you're curious. And I'll let you know how it works out long term. I'm still, like I said, jury's still out on how long the filters are going to last, but hopefully they'll last a while.